Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Look, it is beautiful. If you're in the building, look outside. It is sunny, halfway warm, little bit of wind, gorgeous day. I'm going to fill up a little bit of space talking just so that people in the back can settle. This is our last week before the new year. So, and there's some new faces. So welcome. If you have never ever done yoga, just follow along, right? We're a really nice, sweet, gentle group. Do what you can. If it doesn't feel comfortable or safe or supported in your body, please, 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 just come back to a shape that feels comfortable. So it could be the sitting shape. You could be lying on your back. Okay. Do what you need to do. And that means if you want to do something that feels more vigorous, that feels harder, that feels more challenging than what we're doing, same thing, right? You can always go rogue in this class. All right. So here we go. Let's start on our backs, right? I purposely like to start y'all on your backs because it gives us a foundation. We can feel the ground. It helps us feel that strength piece, that stability, the anchor of the ground. Right? If lying on your back is not your jam, right? Doesn't feel good to you, or you have trouble getting back up, you want to stay standing, let your feet, let your legs anchor downward. So each one of us, pause for a moment to feel the earth. Pause for a moment to feel your body in relationship to the earth. Simultaneously noticing your breath. Reminding ourselves this is a nice time, hopefully, to add in, sprinkle in some mindful self-compassion, practicing with curiosity, being kind to ourselves, doing what we feel we need. I'm going to take 3 breaths. So from a place of curiosity, can you feel the earth and feel your body breathing? This can be a very busy, challenging time of year for many, many people. So finding practices that help us find more calm and find more ease. Finding practices that bring us back to ourselves can be very nurturing and helpful. There's no need to change your breath. Just noticing your breath just as it is. Taking 2 more breaths. And then we're going to start to gently lengthen your exhale. So you're going to just take a natural, easeful inhale. Feel your exhale. If it's easier for you to exhale through your mouth, feel free to do that. Inhaling. A little longer. Exhale. I'm going to do this just a few more times. The exhale is our calming breath. It guides us back to that part of the nervous system that's more about rest. So guiding your nervous system back to a place of rest and calm, 2 more exhales. When you feel, notice your next exhale. We're going to start to bend your knees if your knees are not already bent. And just come into what we call constructive rest pose. So your feet are strong and firm, connected to the floor, and your knees are upright towards the ceiling. So we don't really want the knees drawing in towards each other right now. We want your knees to be more up towards the ceiling. Arms can be down by your sides, palms facing down. And you can take your arms a little wider if you want. It's okay if your arms come wide off your mat. We're just going to start by finding your belly button and pushing your belly button into the floor. And then find your pubic bone and push your pubic bone down into the floor. So just a few little pelvic tilt and tucks. So when you push your belly button down into the floor, this tucks your pelvis under. You might feel your low back really push into the floor. And then when your pubic bone pushes down, this tilts your pelvis. It's an anterior tilt. Your pelvis comes forward. You might feel it compresses your low back. Your low back comes way up off the floor. And just try 2 or 3 more going slow and strong. Weight still nice and heavy through your feet. Might feel the back of your shoulders nice and heavy. And then if you want a little more, push your belly button down and slowly peel your pelvis up, your low back, your mid back, up to your upper back, and come up to like shoulder bridge. And then with control, roll all the way down. Try 2 or 3 more, rolling up into a bridge, waking up your hamstrings, muscles in the back of the legs, waking up your glutes, going at your own pace. If it irritates your spine, pause, just come back to constructive rest pose. No need to move. You can hang out in constructive rest pose and work on your exhale. And then we'll all coast down out of this one, come back to constructive rest, feet on the floor, arms down by your side. Let's wake up your low belly a little more. So let's bring both knees one at a time or separate, up to you, up over your hips. So try and stack your knees over your hips and then just bend and straighten your legs 3 times, taking your heels down and pushing them up to the ceiling. Next time your heels are up towards the ceiling, your legs are a little straighter than bent, pause and bring awareness to the back of your hips. Want to feel the back of the hips nice and heavy. I want to feel like the low back is part of the exercise. Okay, so if you have like a big arch in your low back, take an exhale, draw your navel down a little bit towards the floor. Sometimes we call this the corset cummerbund area. Okay, now externally rotate. So bring your heels together. Bring your arms up to the ceiling. With an inhale, take all the limbs out like a V. Exhale, pull them in like you were in water. So with resistance, take all the limbs out. Exhale, pull them in. One more time. Okay, now limbs up towards the ceiling. Heels are together. Let your arms feel a little heavier. Pull them down into the back of your shoulder sockets. Okay, like you're trying to anchor the back of your shoulders and the middle of your back to the floor. So if you took your heart and tried to anchor it down with the back of your shoulders, that's where we're headed. Okay, keep your arms right where they are. Inhale, take your legs out wide. Exhale, take them down and sweep them together and back up to the ceiling. Inhale, go down. Exhale, sweep them around and sweep them up. Okay, now keep your low back down. It's really easy to take your legs really low to the floor and compress that low back. You feel that strength from your navel to your pubic bone. Try one more. Then reverse direction. So feet come up, heels press together. You lower both legs. Pay attention to your low back. Go out wide like a V and sweep them up and around. You go at your own pace, concentrating on keeping connection, navel to pubic bone through your low back. One or two more. Keep breathing. Inhale, legs go down. Exhale, they sweep out wide and around. One or two more, and then you're going to take your legs up to the ceiling. Great. You're going to draw your knees into your chest, maybe out wide towards your armpits. Practicing. Again, just coming back to your experience. What do you notice? What do you feel? 2 breaths. Draw your knees together if you haven't. Bring your feet to the floor. Arms down by your side. Back to constructive rest pose. Can you follow? Pay attention. Feel 2 exhales. With your next exhale, navel draws towards the floor a little bit. Knees come up over your hips. Hold on to the back of your legs and roll up to sitting. Tabletop. All right, so you can do straight arm tabletop. You can do elbow table. Okay, so you're going to come around, look down at your hands. So for those of you a little newer here, look at your pointer finger. You want your pointer finger facing a little more straight ahead. And then your middle finger, ring finger, and pinky will be off at the side a little bit. And then press down and feel like you are trying to open a jar. Right? So your right arm is going to gently kind of open a jar to the right, like you're corkscrewing your arm into the floor. Your left hand feels like it's going to open a jar to the left, corkscrew the left arm. So the arms feel strong in the upper back. And then all the way from your ears to your shoulders to your hips, pause, take 2 breaths. What's happening in your low back? Did your low back sink? Draw your navel up a little bit. Can your low back feel nice and long? Curl your toes. Okay, here's your challenge. Look down, elbow lines are in, elbow knuckles are out. If you want more, curl your toes, lift your knees, a piece of paper. So it's floating table, just a piece of paper. Should feel, a little hard. All right, you either put your knees on the floor or go up and back to down dog. And you bring your knees back and float them a piece of paper. Or you go back up to down dog, okay? So we're going to do this a few more times. You can keep your knees down on the floor and either push back to child's pose if you prefer, or press up and back to down dog. Pick your challenge and try about 3 more. Good, I can hear people breathing. Keep breathing. Go at your own pace. Right, then you're going to end up either in a downward facing dog or in a child's pose. We're going to take 3 breaths in either one of those places. Feel your exhale. Great. If you're in down dog, slowly start to walk your feet and hands together. If you're in child's pose, come up to table and figure out how to come all the way on up to stand. Come on up, sweep your arms out and up. Bring your arms down by your side, hang out. Anchor your legs back into the floor, feel the steadiness, come back however you might define grounding. So if you've never heard of the term grounding, how would you define feeling grounded, feeling anchored? Come back to your exhale. Can you stay anchored as you exhale? Sweep your arms out and up. Inhale, pull your arms down and in. Now imagine you're pulling some cables. Pull out and up. Rib cage lifts up. Good. Pull down. Nice. This time, if you want more challenge, lift your heels. Slowly lower your heels, come down. Great. One more. We're going to add on. Lift. Okay, now you're going to put your heels down, come back to a chair pose. So your arms come down. Out. Exhale, come up. Inhale. Good. Two more. Exhale. All right, we're going to do one more and we're going to pause in that chair. You pause with your arms on the outside of your legs. Okay, now come back to your low belly. Okay. If you're really tilted, you're going to stick your butt way out and that might hurt your back. So you might just give yourself a little tuck. Great. All right, knees are parallel. Get your form. Fall back a little bit into your heels. Maybe take your arms forward and up. That lifts the chest a little bit. You might look up. 3 breaths. Okay, you're not going to move your legs. You're going to just hinge and fold over. Then you're going to pull your butt cheeks up, stretch through the back of the legs. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, plant your hands, walk back, downward facing dog. Okay, you can come down to tabletop if you need. You feel your hands. Press your hands down like you're opening jars. Your arms are strong out of your upper back. More challenging, come down, little bit of floating table, knees just hover. Right? If you need less, put your knees down, go back to a child's pose or let your knees hover. You're going to stay knees hovering or back to child's pose. Can you feel 3 breaths? It's okay if your breath's getting a little faster. Okay. Then we're all going to come back to downward facing dog. With your next exhale, acknowledge, feel your breath. Walk your hands and feet together. Come all the way on up. Give yourself a big high five stretch. Take your arms down by your side. Come back to your experience. So reconnect. Yeah. Short bursts, many times. Come back. Define grounding. You come back, feel a little more grounded, anchored. What's it feel like to breathe in your body? 3 breaths. And we're going to step your feet wide. So if you're in the room, I would suggest that you look out at that beautiful lake. But you can look any way you want. Take your feet wide. Heels in, toes out. And put your hands up on your hip bones to start. And then if you feel comfortable doing it, just slide your arms up to your lower rib cage. And press your thumbs a little more into those back ribs. See if you can feel 2 breaths in your thumbs. So breathing into the back of the ribs. You feel some movement back in the thumbs. Great, then just let your arms come down. You're gonna exhale, sweep your arms out and up and go down into a sumo squat. You're gonna pull your arms down and straighten the legs. Come up if you want, lift your heels. Couple more, go down, sweep your arms out and up. Pull the arms down, straighten the legs, lift the heels. I'm going to be quiet, just try and follow the movement from your breathing. Move and breathe together. Kind of like your breath is the music to the movement. Breath is the rhythm to the movement. Great, 2 more. Great, last one. Next time your legs are straightish, arms are down, pause for a breath or 2. Breath might feel a little faster. Can you feel anchored even with a little quicker breath? Not moving your hands, can you come back and feel the breath a little lower in those floating back ribs? Great. Exhale, sweep your arms out and up. Great. Reach up as you root into your heels. So just give yourself a big stretch. Bring your arms down. Great. Left leg rolls in just a little bit. Right leg rolls out. Okay, so go about heel to heel. Lift the front of your hip bones. Great. Sweep your arms out to come back up to the ceiling. With your exhale, bend your right knee. You just bend your right knee as far as it feels comfortable in your body. Okay, can you lift up through the front of the hips to feel the ribs lift, to feel the shoulder blades lift, to reach way up? Great. With your exhale, tip at your hip, right elbow to right thigh bone. You're going to take your left hand onto your left hip. Great. Pause for just a moment. Feel your shoulder blades. So draw some awareness to your upper back, shoulders soft out of your ears. Great. Spin your chest a little bit up to the left. You got it. 2 breaths. Great. Let your elbow float up. Use a little more of that side body core so you don't get your arm for help. All the way on up. Straighten your right leg. Right leg rolls in, left leg rolls out. So going over to the other side. Great. Lift your hips. Sweep your arms out and up to the ceiling. Let your left knee bend. Anchor into the floor. Lift your hips, lift your ribs, lift your shoulder blades, reach up. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Then you're going to tip at your hip, left elbow to left thigh, right hand onto your hip. Pause. You might spin your chest a little bit to the right. Couple of breaths. Can you feel the breath through your ribs, front ribs, back ribs? Lift your elbow up off your leg. Great. Exhale, come all the way on up. Great. Step your feet together at the front of your mat. Standing meditation. Short bouts many times. Come back, anchor into the earth. Can you feel the steadiness? Anchoring of your body with the earth simultaneously with your breath. Sun salutation. Exhale. Sweep your arms out and up. Maybe you lift your heels. Exhale, chair pose. Keep your knees bent. Maybe lift your arms up. Check your low back. Right? Do you need to tuck a little bit so your low back doesn't hurt? Good. Fold forward. Stretch the back of your legs. Lift your chest. Look out. Step back. Tabletop or downward facing dog. It's really easy to forget about your hands. Okay? Hands connect into the earth with the feet. Find those points of contact. Your choice. Maybe you come down and do floating table back to down dogs. Maybe you just hang out in tabletop. You do you. I'm going to be here for about 5 more seconds. End up back in down dog. Give yourself 3 breaths. And you bend your knees and push your hip creases back. How long can you feel through your spine? I'm going to exhale. Feel your exhale. Walk your hands and feet together. Come all the way back up. Big high 5 mountain stretch. Arms come down. Step your feet wide. Great. Heels in, toes out. Here we go again. Exhale, go down. Sweep your arms out and up. Get your heart rate up a little bit. Come on up. Lift your heels. 4 more. You go at your own pace. You lower down. You come up. Meet yourself where you are. Try to keep your knees nice and wide. So knees pressing open, thigh bones pressing open towards those pinky toes. Right, one or two more. Then we're just going to pause in standing with your hands on your hips. Heart rate's going to be a little bit faster. Practice feeling anchored with a little faster heart rate. Still feel grounded even with a fast heartbeat, fast breath. Next exhale, left leg rolls in a little bit, right leg rolls out. Sweep your arms up to the ceiling. Lift the front of your hips. So with an inhale, lift the front of your hips. Exhale, let your right knee bend. Great. One more time like we did previously. Stretch. Lift the front of your hips. Lift your ribs. Lift your shoulder blades. Exhale, tip, elbow to thigh bone. All right. Left arm is up towards that ceiling. Reach. Okay, a little bit different. Just take your palm, take your arm, shoulder height, lower it down. So you're going to just take your arm, shoulder height, palms facing down. There you go. Now sweep your left arm in line with your top cheek, with your left cheek. Sweep it around and rotate your thumb up and your pinky finger down. Great. Extended side angle. You breathe, maybe spin your heart a little more towards the left or up towards the ceiling. 3 breaths. There you go. Push into that back foot and stretch, stretch, stretch through the top side body. You're going to be longer after class. Come all the way on up. Great. Right leg rolls in, left leg rolls out. Sweep your arms out and up. Lift the front of your hips. Bend your left knee, pause. Stretch. Anchor down. Don't lose your grounding. See how long you can feel. Great. When you're ready, tip, elbow to thigh. Right arm stays up. Bend your left knee a little deeper if you want a little more challenge. Take your right arm just down in front of you. See it? Palms down. There you go. Sweep it in line with your ear or your cheek. Rotate your thumb up, your pinky finger down. You got it. Now feel your back right foot. Stretch, 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 stretch. And you can even take your top ribs up to the ceiling a little bit. Okay, so your thumbs up, palms facing back. Great. Come all the way on up. Great. Wide stride. Sweep your arms forward and up to the ceiling. Great. Push into your feet. Stretch through your side body. Reach. Good. Bring your arms down. Left leg rolls in. Right leg rolls up. Inhale. Lift your arms. Exhale. Bend your right knee. Here you go. Tip on over. Maybe this time your right arm just tips and grabs your shin or grabs the outside of your ankle. Okay, left arm's going to pull up to the ceiling. Right arm's going to pull down. So you could have your elbow pushing down or your arm reaching out. How much space can you find across the upper back, across your collarbones? Great. Now bring your top arm back in line with your left ear or cheek. Rotate the arm. So when you rotate the arm, the thumb is up and the pinky's down, your palms facing back. No, it's proprioception, feeling your body in space. If you're confused, that's a good thing. Push your top ribs up. Yeah. You're going to stay here for an hour. Come all the way on up. All right. Pause. Take your right arm out like a handshake. Okay, you're going to keep your arm right there the whole time. Maybe this will feel a little better, make more sense in your body. Right leg rolls in, left leg rolls out. Okay, bend your left knee. Tip at your hip, elbow to thigh bone. You didn't move your arm, did you? Still out in front. You're still doing an arm shake. Okay, now take your right arm, sweep it in line with your cheek or your face. There you go. See, it's a downward facing dog arm. Yeah, same rotation. Good. Now, maybe that left arm straightens a little bit. Maybe not. You got this. Keep breathing. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Top ribs can push up a little bit. Yeah. All the way on up. Ooh. Step your feet together. Ah. I'm going to be quiet. Give you an opportunity to come back to your experience. Right? We're all similar yet really different. So acknowledging from a place of kindness and curiosity what you feel. What's it feel like to breathe in your body? Bring some attention to your back floating ribs, the back of your rib cage, the back of your heart. Do you feel anything there when you take 2 breaths? And with an exhale, re-anchor, acknowledge your breath, let your eyes open if they're closed. Here we go, sun salutation. Exhale, sweep your arms out and up. Push your hip creases back, fold forward. Step your feet back, downward facing dog. Okay, come forward. Your challenge. You could do floating table, table, straight arm plank. Right? Where do you want to be? What do you want to get out of this? Check in. So if you want to come to plank, try to keep your butt as high as your shoulders. It's better to be in a pike than a sag. You're in tabletop or floating table. Everyone just keeps breathing, finding their own shape. All right, we're going to find tabletop, so lower down. Okay, if you need to fold your mat over to protect your knees, help your knees, fold your mat over a couple times. Okay, if tabletop isn't your jam because of your hands or your wrists, come on down to your forearms, right? If you're at home, you can use a chair. If you're in the room, you can use that ledge by the water, by the lake, okay? So find, feel, connect, hands. How we started. Strong. Might feel like you're turning, corkscrewing your arms, upper back, mid back, low back connect. Okay, so I'm going to try and keep this feeling of tabletop from your ears to your hips. Feel your right knee. You're just going to slide your right knee back a little bit and you're just going to push your foot up to the ceiling. So we're going to swing that right leg. We're going to try not to move your back. And you just move your leg. And you might start to swing your leg a little more like a pendulum, pulling your right knee in and then pushing your foot up. More challenging, the lever gets longer. So more challenging, you're going to straighten that right leg. Less challenging, you keep it bent. Not wobbling, not changing shape in your back. Good, 1 or 2 more. Probably start to feel it in this left hip that's helping stabilize. Then you're going to put the right knee down and go right away over to the left side. Try and keep your spine really set and stable. Okay, not a whole ton of movement in your spine. You can swing the leg a little more like a pendulum. Great, 1 more. All right, then we're going to take a fork in the road. You're going to bring your knee back down. Either go back to child's pose and rest, or right, come to tabletop. Take your right toes back to the right corner of your mat. Take your left toes to the back corner. So you can take plank with a wide leg stance. So you're either going to go back to a child's pose or hang out in this plank with wide legs. We all have 5 more breaths. All of us finding our own experience. Keep breathing. Okay, we're going to lower down for tummy time. Come all the way down on your belly, nice and long. I know, we still need tummy time. It's still really good. Well, that was really subjective. I believe it's really good, but don't quote me. All right, we're going to tuck your chin, let your forehead come down. See if you can just feel a little softer from your ears to your shoulders, all the way down through your ribs and hips, all the way down your legs. Now, find your pinky toes and just pull your pinky toes back. If you could feel length, you're decompressing, creating length from your ears, through the back of your shoulders, your hips, out your toes. Okay. Now, we haven't really talked a whole lot today about corset cummerbund. Imagine you have that corset cummerbund on. We need that corset to be nice and strong so that when we inhale and lift our chest up, it doesn't really hurt our low back. And lift your chest up. Just pause. You can keep your chin down a little bit, looking at your forearms. You're going to push into the front of your hips and lift your legs. And check in. How's this feel? Especially in that low back. So we will need to keep that feeling of strength, corset cummerbund length and width across the back. And then you're going to come down. Just try it again. Lift the chest, lift the legs. Lower down. And then lower down. So if you want more challenge, you're going to take your top arm up with you and lower down. If you want even more challenge, you're going to take both arms up, legs up, and down. So we're just going to take a little fork in the road and work where you feel comfortable. Okay, so be here for a little bit of time, lifting and lowering. Great. Okay, let's try maybe 1 or 2 more. Check in. Hopefully you're not holding your breath. And then just come back down for tummy time and rest. You could stay on your tummy or you could push back to child's pose, finding a shape that is supportive for you. I'm going to take about 3 or 4 breaths here. We're going to press up to our tabletop. You get up there. Okay, nice round cap shape. So push your low belly, your mid belly, and your chest up. And then we'll trickle through neutral to cow. So we'll do 2 more. Looking to find mobility. Mobility takes strength, so strength all the way through this range of motion. And then we'll just come back to your tabletop. We'll take your knees nice and wide, okay? So when you get back to table, you're gonna take your knees wide. So my knees will come about as wide as our mats, but you're a little different. So you just go as wide as you want, and you might bring your feet together. So it's gonna feel like a little bit like a frog, maybe. Look like a frog. I don't know what a frog feels like. I should not assume that this would feel like a frog. It's not fair to the frog. Push your butt back. Enough that you go, oh, okay, that's something. And you might take your arms way out in front of you. You might bring your chest closer to the floor, your chin, you're looking out. Okay, chin up, and then you're going to roll your arms so your thumbs come up. Okay, 3 or 4 breaths here. It's going to be lots of extension in your mid-back, back of the rib cage, where we tend to be very tight. And then as you're here, use your exhale to come back into your experience. What's it feel like across and through your upper back to exhale right here? Is it possible to breathe without forcing anything? To just be right where you are as you are with your breath. And then exhale, let it go, come back to a tabletop and just free form. I don't know, maybe you want cat cow, maybe you want down dog. Check in. You want to lengthen your spine, maybe stretch out your low back. You go up and back to down dog. Maybe you want something with a little more mobility. Maybe you feel like it's not yoga if you haven't done 25 push-ups, so you need 25 push-ups. Right? Use this opportunity to check in with yourself. Okay, then we're going to come back, feel your breath, and find a nice anchored seated shape. So slowly make your way back out of what you were doing. You can sit crisscross applesauce or bring your legs out in front of you. Eyes open or eyes closed. Give yourself 5 breaths to reestablish what grounding feels like to you. So what does it feel like in your body physically to be a little more grounded? And from a place of grounding, take your rib cage around to the right. Take your head around to the left gently. Take a few breaths. And take your rib cage around to the left and your gaze around to the right. And take a few breaths. Staying grounded. One more time. Rib cage to the right, gaze to the left. Shoulders soft. Right? What I mean by shoulders soft is they're not hiked way up into your ears. You're going a little more towards the floor, less to the ceiling. Great. Ribs all the way to the left. Gaze to the right. You feel 3 exhales. Come back to center. Bring your legs out in front of you. Hold on to the back of the legs. Okay. So up to you. This will be a lot easier. This will be a lot harder. You're going to go back on the back of your sit bones and try to go vertebra by vertebra all the way down onto your back. And give yourself a full body stretch. And bend your knees. Bring a hand, if it feels comfortable, on your heart, hand on your belly. Come back to your experience. You might redefine what grounding feels like to you. You stay grounded, simultaneously being with your breath. Full commitment, gentle exhale breathing. We'll take a few moments here to practice gratitude, bringing to mind 2 or 3 things that you're extremely grateful for and feeling gratitude in your body. What does gratitude feel like? We'll pause here in silence for a few breaths. And coming back to your experience, just noticing what you notice. 2 full exhales here. Using your exhale to bring you back to your experience, back to a little more embodiment, being in your body. We'll just start to slowly bring your knees into your chest. It doesn't matter which side. We're going to roll over to one side and pause and just breathe through the back of the heart. Breathing across the back of the heart and the ribs. And then with your next exhale or 2, we'll slowly make our way back on up to sitting. Reestablish what it feels like to be a little more anchored and grounded. So finding a shape that provides stability. We'll exhale, sweep our arms out and up and give everyone a high five. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Have a fantastic holiday. See you in the spring. Woohoo! Woohoo! We did it.